This is how you can make 15 to 30,000 Rand starting a print-on-demand business. This is how much I made within 3 days from just one promotion on TikTok that got around 40,000 views. In this video, I'm going to show you all the mistakes that I made with this business. I'm going to show you the costing, and I'm going to tell you how you can get started with your print-on-demand business. Let's dive into my process that I did and all the mistakes that I did. So please do not take this as a step-by-step tutorial. Just watch my mistakes and you will learn a lot, and it will save you a lot of money. After I show you my process, I'm going to go through how much it cost in order to get all of this equipment. I'm going to tell you how much you can price your goods at in order to make 15 to 30,000 Rand a month. I will also give you some tips and tricks on how to get started with this. So let's get into my process. Let us open a new file in Photoshop and make sure that there's a print A4. We want the resolution to be 300. And obviously create a name for your project. Remember, you don't have to use Photoshop, you can use Canva. If you're using Photoshop, make sure it's CMYK color and then click create. Once we have our A4 open, we want to start adding our division lines because we are printing on 2 separate socks. So once we have our division line, we can go ahead and create our design. I'm using Midjourney. If you don't know how to use Midjourney, then go ahead and check out my other video. I want to revolve around the Harry Potter theme because I think it's really popular right now. Avada Kedavra. And this is my prompt. Make sure your aspect ratio is 2:3 and V4 at the end. I want to show you how you can save your images from Midjourney. So make sure that you selected the image that you want. When you click on it, open in browser to get the full ratio, save image as, and then open up your Photoshop or Canva and paste your image in. As you can see, it's a great image and a great design, but not necessarily good for socks. So this is why I'm going to play around with my design and make sure that I'm happy with it. In the meantime, we are waiting for our Midjourney to create another prompt to see what other designs we can have. It is finally done. Let's see what design we have. I really like the bottom. So that is U3 to upscale the bottom third, or the third one, right? While we have it there, as you can see, the separation is good. Open in browser, right click, save image as. We can remove the previous design and paste it. I want to see if it is exactly in the middle because we're printing on 2 socks. So move your cursor into the middle there. And yep, that's great. Let's export this as a PNG. Once we've exported our image, we can go ahead and print it out. Here's our image. Very beautiful design. I really love it. I definitely wouldn't just print this as is. I'll definitely add some more. Remember to change to portrait mode. This is the transfer paper that you will need for light color fabric. There is transfer paper for dark color fabric, and just make sure that you choose the right one. Make sure that the squares are facing away from the printer as demonstrated in this video. And we'll come to one of our first challenges or mistakes. Not only is transfer paper really expensive per page for this specific one, and yes, you can find transfer paper that will cost you around 2 Rand to 9 Rand per page, but we've reached our first stumbling block. And as you can see, our printer is printing lines. Now don't worry, there are tutorials out there to help you get rid of these lines for specific printers. If you'd like me to show you how to do that, then definitely click like and comment. Now this is for your heat press. I have got the smallest heat press and that's okay for socks, but this is how you turn it on. Just click the on button, click set, and set for the first one would be your heat. So I've seen that 210 degrees is ideal. Some people do 220, and then change the time by pressing set again and go up to 40 seconds. Some people do 55 to a minute. I always was too scared that it would burn the actual sock, And here we come to our next biggest mistake. I got the wrong fabric. I asked the supplier, can I print on these? And he's like, yes. And you'll see the quality at the end was no. So I spent around 2,000 Rand on socks to get bad quality socks. So that was another mistake that I made. Now coming to your design, you'll notice that you cannot lay your sock like this in order to get the full design onto your sock. Now depending on socks, t-shirts, hoodies, there'll be different ways to do this. For socks, what you have to do is you have to insert cardboard into it so it is flat, right? So that it doesn't look like a sock. This is the type of cardboard that I use, but for this video, I will just be using no cardboard. I've seen people do this, and that is press the sock first, or t-shirt, or hoodie, and make sure that it is flat. Do it for 10 seconds, do it for 20 seconds, it's up to you. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and place your design. As you can see, this is not ideal. Do not do this. You will not get your design fully on your socks. Now, I know I said 40 seconds for this heat press, and you'll see in this clip, I actually stop. I don't know why. I always get scared that I'm going to burn the paper on the sock, or there's going to be a fire started. So I actually take it off at around 25 seconds. When you first take it off, you got to do a test. So that it's really hot. Be very careful. You got to see if the design is sticking to the material. So I checked it out, and I'm not too happy how it's sticking onto the material. So this is where I would go ahead and further press it for the rest of the duration. As you can see, it's very hard to pull off. It should really just peel off without you having to pull too much. Now you can see that the sock is coming off fairly nicely. And the reason for the poor quality, which you'll see just now, is due to the material of the sock and possibly the time kept under the heat press. It was possibly not hot enough or too hot. I'm still playing around with the settings. This one came out really nicely. As you can see, the green came out really, really nicely compared to the red. And this is why I want to get into this business. This is the reason why I love this business so much. Imagine creating beautiful designs and being able to print onto fabric with those designs and sell them for a profit. Before we get into the type of ways that you can start this business and make money from, let's take a step back and look at the equipment that you need in order to get started. Number one, you need a EcoTank dye sublimation printer. The one that I got was the Epson L3110. It cost around 1,600 Rand, and it was an absolute steal. In fact, they stopped making these printers, so I think that you won't be able to get any of them. The reason why I got it for such a steal is because I went to Walton's, or my office, and I picked this up as a display unit. In fact, this was the last unit that they were ever going to sell at the shop, so I really got a good deal on it. They usually go for around 2,500 upwards to 3,000 Rand. The second piece of equipment that you will need is a heat press. Now, don't be like me and get the smallest, cheapest one if you want to do t-shirts or hoodies. If you want to do socks, it is still a little bit small and you won't get your full design on the sock. I have to work my way around it by just leaving the tip unprinted and the top unprinted. Now your heat press is the higher or the most expensive out of them. They can go from 3,800 Rand all the way up to like 20 grand, even in fact beyond. So depending on the type of fabric that you are going to be heat pressing onto, do some more research and get the right one. Transfer paper, another huge expense if you are getting the ones at the store. I got the one at the store which came out to around 17 Rand per page. Absolutely insane. So don't go for that type of transfer paper. Rather get the rolls and cut them up yourself, which will bring your cost all the way down to around 4 Rand or 2 Rand, 9 Rand, depending on the type of roll that you get. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is socks. Please don't be like me and get the wrong socks. I spent 2,000 Rand on socks before even printing on a sample. How insane is that? I was jumping onto the hype so much of Christmas, getting people Christmas socks because I felt like that was going to sell, and I didn't even test the sock. I believed the supplier that this was 100% polyester, and it looks like it wasn't. Clearly it's not. I got the wrong sock. So don't make that mistake. Go to your supplier, go to people who actually do this printing thing for a living, and make sure that you're getting the right socks. I'll leave a supplier in the link in the description down below. The supplier provides good socks and will help you get started with your sublimation business. Other tools that you'll need is your photo editing tools in order to get your design. So that will be Photoshop or Canva. Canva's free, Photoshop isn't, so that would depend on your preferences. How much did I spend on this business? I spent around 10,000 Rand for all the equipment, and I got back, as you saw in the beginning of the video, around 1,000 Rand in the first 3 days. That's why I said you could make 15 to 30,000 Rand depending on how you position yourself, the type of designs you have, the type of products you're selling. I have a friend in this business who made around 120,000 Rand from doing this. So it is possible. Now, get your costing right. The costs involved is your socks and transfer paper. Depending on the quality of sock, you can spend around 15 Rand per sock. So not a pair, it's per sock. So that's around 30 Rand. Then the transfer paper, you can spend around 2 to 9 Rand per sheet. Now remember, you need 2 sheets to do front and back of the sock. So if you're getting it for 2 Rand per sheet or 9 Rand per sheet, let's round it up to 5 Rand or 10 Rand. You'll be spending from 10 to 20 Rand per print. This is not including the electricity cost of setting up the heater or printer. Depending on the type of quality that you are going to give to your customer, it's going to cost you around 30 to 60 Rand per pair. So for example, I was selling each pair of socks for 120 Rand, and I was making around 60 Rand profit. So if I sell 1,000, then I'll make 60,000 Rand. Please do not forget delivery. I see people do a lot of costing and then forget to add delivery onto it. So if you're selling one pair of socks for 120 Rand and then you didn't cost in delivery fees, if people see 220 at the end on checkout, they're going to be like, what, 100 Rand for delivery? Nah, forget about it, and then throw it away. Do cost in delivery. Right, you've learned from my mistakes. You've learned that this business can potentially make you 15 to 30,000 Rand. It is a good investment. You can definitely hop onto trends, especially here in South Africa. I don't see anyone doing it. I remember on TikTok, there are these anime guys who jumped onto anime printing designs on anime, and they made a lot of money from it. So if you want to go down the anime route, you can definitely do that. If you want to hop onto trends, definitely do that. But remember to include TikTok ads. Around 100 Rand gets you 40,000 views. And if you want to learn how to set up your first TikTok ad account here in South Africa, definitely click the link to the card to show you how to do that. Finally, thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I've exposed myself and showing you how I failed miserably at setting this business up. Don't worry, I am getting back on track, making sure that I get the right socks, make sure that I bring my costing down, and I will dominate this space because I know how to market. I know how to get my products out there. I just don't know how to do this business correctly. With time, I will pick myself up, and hopefully you have learned a lot from this video. If you have, I would love it if you smash the like, hit the subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos because I am pumping it out this year. With that being said, stay shining, keep smiling, even on a rainy day. Cheers.